What's good with y'all, man? Welcome back to the Champions Podcast, episode 3. We're here with the boys here. Welcome again,
The men. The men.
again. And so, what's the question? Jose said he had a question. Let's get
So
straight to it.
let me ask y'all, what is the definition of fear?
Okay.
Okay, well, it's subjective, but I'll give my take on it. And so, okay, I'll start. So I just started. I am like about done with Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. It's about my second time reading the book. I read the book the first time back in 2020 when I was 19, 18. And reading it now, it's given me a much broader perspective on faith and fear. And so fear, the book states that fear is negative energy and it's energy placed in the wrong area, right? Energy placed in the wrong spot. And that makes you a drifter, quote unquote, is what the book says, which makes you a slave to the devil, right? And the devil's an entity of negative energy. And so with fear is something that us as humans have fabricated over a period of time. And it is something that prevents you from doing what you need to do, right? It prevents you from doing something that needs to be done. It prevents you from growing and it prevents you from improving. And if that fear takes a hold of you, you just won't be able to do anything about it. You'll be stuck in a web like you're a fly on the web, is what the book said. And so fear is a very dangerous tool if not utilized properly. It can be used in ways in which that it'll bring someone up. It can be used as a motivational factor. You know, if I'm afraid of being broke, okay, what do I need to do? Let's go fucking, I'm gonna apply for a job. I'm gonna apply for 2 jobs. I'm gonna start a side hustle there. I'm gonna start freelancing. I'm gonna start selling this and that. I'm gonna do what I need to do so that this fear can be eradicated. Panic, right? That can be used as a positive tool, but who are the majority of the people doing? Oh, I don't want to go talk to her, guys. You know, oh, she's so fine, bro. But like, go talk to her. Nah, dude. You know what I'm saying? She don't like game. Nah, you're just afraid to talk to her, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's preventing you from talking to her. And then you never know. She could be your wife, or she could be a potential girlfriend, or friends with benefits, whatever. But you're just afraid to talk to her because of misconceptions in your head. You know, your brain has your brain is created to solve problems, right? And fear is
Mhm.
simply a problem, but it's not something that people are trained to solve, right? Because they think fear is something to get away from. If I'm afraid of that shooter that's over there, I'm gonna run away, of course. But it's like if I'm a man and I'm a firefighter, or I'm a police officer, I have to go over there and defend, right? So fear is a lot of things.
Yeah, those are some good points on fear. I do agree with like really everything you said because reading the Outwitting the Devil book or having the audiobook play, it's like it really changed my perspective of fear. Like as he was speaking, I was thinking to myself, okay, he's saying everything I want to say, but what's something that he hasn't said? It was something that I got this from reading. I forgot what book it was, but I know it wasn't a self-help book. It was like a fiction book. Um, but it described fear as like almost like a form of protection. So it's like you're protecting your ego or you're protecting yourself or you're trying to keep your life going. So if you go back to the primal fears, you're afraid of dark or animals or, you have that fear out of protection so you can keep your body protected so you can stay alive. And that fear, you either trigger the fight or flight. So either you'll fight back out of fear or you run out of fear,
Right.
which is both going to be, protecting you. So let's go into something that isn't a primal fear. So like, you're afraid of your exam
Yeah.
or you have anxiety about your exam. So
Right.
you're going to be afraid to fail your exam because it's going to hurt your ego to fail. That's really why you're afraid. There's no other reason behind it. So it's like you being able to use that fear and instead of use the flight side of it and use the fight side of it, you'll be able to fight back and use your fear as like a positive, emotion. Because I mean, it's with our emotions, you can't run away from. You can't say, "Oh, I'm never gonna be fearful of anything." But then, if you accept that you are fearful of something, and then decide to fight back, you're being brave. I remember I heard that somewhere. I forgot where I heard it, but that's when it hit me. I was like, okay, I got courage because I want to
Right.
fight back, even though I feel, fear. But yeah, it's just a way to protect your ego. And then how are you gonna protect your ego while you're under that fear?
That's a good point. It's
Yeah, I
really
think
useful.
that's an interesting perspective, protecting the ego. My opinion on fear. First of all, what's up, champions? I don't think I said anything since the recording started, but
Champions.
my opinion on fear. Fear is, at first when you said it, I was automatically thinking, fear is bad. But then I heard Namdi's opinion on it, and I heard Med's opinion on it. I was like, wait, fear could be a good thing because I could fear being homeless. Therefore, I'm gonna work harder. So then I was like, okay, what is fear really? And I guess fear is more of the opposite of faith. So what is faith? Faith is belief. So isn't fear, faith is belief in something. So fear is the opposite of that. So it's like the disbelief in something. So but then I thought more about fear and I was like, well, fear is really a powerful tool. It's almost like power. So then I was like, I guess I could say fear is power because, you know, everybody stayed in their house for months because of our fear of a sickness. That's pretty powerful. And then, I think that would have to be my final connotation to fear would just be power. Fear is power. You make somebody fear you, you have power over them. I did hear a quote one time that said, "Whatever you fear is your god." So, uh, that kind of relates to fear just being power. Whatever you fear is what has power over you.
Yeah, great points, everyone. But I'm gonna say it what the definition of fear is, and it's a noun. So, an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain or a threat. So, when people hear that, a normal person, right? Usually, if they have fear, it'll be something in a situation where they're in danger, right? Or something is threatening them, or something in their life is causing them to basically lose their life, or in a situation that they might lose their life. But in today's day and age, a lot of people fear mundane things, which is going up to a person to talk to, having a speech, a presentation for a class. Even though that's not in a dangerous situation, they're limiting themselves to thinking it's a fear. It's something that they fear without really understanding the definition of fear. That's what I realized this past week listening to this podcast by Rob Dial. And if you go about the true definition of fear, everything else that I guess makes you nervous isn't fearful.
But yeah, what you described there is like what you're fearful of isn't necessarily gonna, cause you actual danger. And I feel like that relates to what I was saying with the ego. And it's like anything that you're afraid of, and it's really just, and it's not gonna cause you death. It's like it's really just it's only dangerous to your ego. You're only afraid of how it's gonna make you feel.
So where do
Like
y'all
you're
think
not.
that shit is branched from? Like why is talking to a girl? Why are niggas scared of talking to women? Why like fear of rejection, which of course disrupts the ego, the balance of the ego.
Yeah.
But where did that branch from? What kind of initiation started the evolution to happen? Because 20 years ago, if you were 30 years ago, a dude would be like, just walk up to a chick, be like, yo, what's up? Here's a rose. It's gonna
Yeah.
mean something. But nowadays, you gotta send a DM, you gotta add her on Instagram, you gotta like 4 of her photos, you gotta talk to her friend to see if she's for the streets, you gotta get all this data, right? And it's like, where do you think it branched from? All that. Could it be social media? Could it be technology? I don't know.
Maybe okay, maybe I think it branches from the process that you just stated right there, having to do all that extra stuff. Because when you're doing all that extra, nonsense, you're doing all that extra thinking. Now you think about her too much. It's like, oh, should I go talk to her? Should I not go talk to her? But the more you think, the more it's going to be, I guess, attached to your feelings because it's going to be in your head. So it's like before you go do it, now you're thinking, you're overthinking. Now you're emotionally involved. So like I'm not gonna get too deep into it, but me and Josh, we worked our event this past spring break. And when we got done, we decided to, kick it around. Just see what the motive is. So you can ask Josh, I'm having a good time. I'm talking to these ladies. I'm not thinking, I'm not worried about if they're gonna say yes or no. You don't do that.
Don't
That's
think.
where
I'm
it comes
thinking.
from. Yeah, you don't base your feelings off somebody else's actions. Because that's when you're gonna get real scared. Then you're like, dang, is she gonna like me? Oh, nah, don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to yourself. I could have easily done the same thing and started thinking, got scared, and I would have never talked to nobody the whole night. So it really just, I my first response to you, Namdi, I was gonna say, oh, maybe it's the TV, it's the shows, and it's portraying how we should think about women and how that's messed it up. But at the same time, it's our fault for being scared of something that we should not be afraid of. Like if you think about it in a rational sense, why am I afraid to go talk to this woman right now? Who is she? Is she gonna kill me? Like I should not be afraid of her if she's not gonna cause me any bodily harm. Come on, I'm 6'5", I'm 220. Come on, don't play.
Or no, some bitches that watched you on Netflix, and they're gonna start chopping niggas' heads off. But
Oh Lord.
on branching out from what you said though, because it could be the shows, it could be some influence from social media or whatnot. Because there are people who I know who've been players since they were a kid, and so talking to women is just like easy to them. It's not
Yeah.
hard, it's not difficult. And there are people on the other side of the spectrum who it's difficult for them to go and initiate a conversation because of them being nervous, them being anxious, their ego being destroyed, them being rejected. They're thinking about all these different future. They're conceiving all these different future events that haven't happened yet, right? And that prevents them from actually going and doing it, right? So we suffer
Exactly.
more in imagination than reality. That's a quote by Socrates, and it's facts. We do suffer more in imagination than we do in reality because in our head, our brain is like, oh, what if she thinks we have bad breath? What if we have a
Yeah.
booger in her nose? Or what if we trip right in front of her, bro? Or what if she calls me ugly in front of her? That's just all right. Then we're not gonna go talk to her. That's gonna
Yeah.
be the decision. You've already negotiated with your inner bitch and you've lost. You have
You've
failed.
lost.
So I think it depends because we could talk about childhood. We could be like, okay, because I mean, I don't know if, like, I guess I was good with girls. I don't know. I had a lot of friends, girls who were friends. So I guess I could talk to girls like that. But it's like, it just kind of depends on the mood, on the environment, etc. Because if you're perspicacious on the environment, if you're perspicacious of the things around you, then the energy's right to go and approach, right? So, I mean, like at a gym, she's too busy trying to get a workout in, bro. Like, what I'm saying, if I was a girl and I was wearing leggings and shit like that, and I was getting hit on by 5 different dudes every single day I went to the gym, I would find that fucking annoying. So I wouldn't want to go and approach to a chick at the gym, bro. It's just, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah, I see that. Oh man.
So it's just, in matter of fact, with the proper definition of fear, everybody that goes through some type of situation regarding with what you guys just said, there shouldn't be no fear involved. And that could be blamed on childhood, like you said, or past experiences. But with society today, fear is just seen as a normal thing to like mundane tasks, like mundane things that we used to do back then that was normal. So the big point for this and for this topic, for in my opinion, just to look at fear as something that in that very moment, is it going to kill you? Is it going to put you in a dangerous situation? Is it going to, alter your life forever? Or is it just going to be a memory where it's just that point in time you got embarrassed and it's not going to affect you later on? You're just going to forget about it.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you a question. Let's get into scenarios. Let's get into some cases, right? You're a firefighter who's in New York City, and let's say it's some catastrophic event. A truck drives into a restaurant, the restaurant's on fire, you got people in there in the basement, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They're calling you, Jose, pull up, hurry, this and that. Wee woo. You know what I'm saying? You're all the way over there. You got kids in there, you got babies in there. And of course, you're going to have some sort of fear factor, right? But you've been trained to do things like this. It may alter your life because you may see someone who's on fire or something. It may be a threat to your life because you may get on fire yourself. But of course, you're wearing protective gear to prevent that from happening. You're still gonna be affected somehow from the hazardous effects, right, of the fire. So in a way, there are definitely exceptions to the rule with fear. And in this case, let's talk about young adults, for an example, young men who are in their teens. You know, when it comes to talking to a girl, it's not going to change your life forever.
Yeah.
There's millions of women out there, bro. If one
Could it?
says no, I guarantee you there's gonna be one out of the million that is gonna say yes. You know?
What if it does change their life forever? What if
If it
that
changes
person
their life,
comes out of
in
that?
what way? In what way? Provide some examples.
That person comes out of that interaction traumatized. You take a person that's extremely introverted, a person that
Okay.
is a weird incel. You know, he finally talks to somebody who he lifts his ego enough to at least talk to a girl. He sees a girl, you know, he talks to her and say by the slightest circumstance, usually this wouldn't happen, but she's so disgusted. Ew, no, why would you even think that? Haha, laugh, walks away. Now he's
For the
traumatized.
niggas, bro. It's called being in the friend zone. I mean, not that, but I know what you mean. And if that
Yeah.
ends up traumatizing his life and it's just a bunch of trauma, and he doesn't know how to utilize that trauma for fuel to go into the gym and to get big
Yeah.
and to get strong and to get smart and to make money, and he just stays at home, beats his meat, and watches Netflix, and that's his fault. That's his problem, you know. So it's like, if you were to ask
Wait.
you a question, would you date you?
Would you date?
You? That is the question.
I was gonna say,
I
is he at the level that he should be going to talk to women?
Yeah, I wanted to add this point too. It's kind of like a fear thing. If you feel some type of anxiety when you talk to a woman, that might be an indicator to yourself, like, okay, I'm not, maybe I should work on myself. Because it's easy to say, she's not going to hurt me. There's no reason to be scared to talk to her. But I mean, that's easier said than done. If you're just a lame nobody loser
Okay.
and you go try and talk to the
Mm.
prettiest girl, if you try to go talk to the prettiest girl, I'm like, shit, I'm just gonna talk to her because he might be a little delusional. Like, why would you get the prettiest girl on campus, bro? Like, look at you, like you
All
got
right.
some
So
work to do.
Okay, well, definitely.
I see what you're saying though, because
Yeah.
he does have to do that work to improve himself
Yeah.
to be at that level. But at the same time, it's like he can still go do that and like break out of that fear. And then
Yeah.
once he gets rejected, because obviously he's gonna get rejected, he's got to use that energy and not run from it, but like fight back. So the fight or flight, it has to go back into that. He has to fight back. And how is he gonna fight back? He needs to go hit Walmart, get him some breath mints, clean his hair up, you know, get fresh, you know. That's how he's gonna fight back against that fear of not being able to talk to a woman. He's gonna get better.
It's that
But if
confidence.
he goes back to the crib and he starts jacking it to categories of, hey, something. Come on now. He's running from his you get that.
Man, he said jacking it.
I got that from this one dude, this streamer, his name is Low Tier God. He is comedy, like he's funny. Uh, if I want to be like anybody on the internet, I'd be a menace like that. I was gonna say the N-word, but I said him.
And I was gonna say something regarding on what Josh said, and it's like if a man is extremely anxious or nervous to talk to women, then what do you do if you know that you're not good at something? You do more of that thing, right? If you get anxious and if you get nervous whenever you're talking to a woman, talk to more women. You know,
Yeah.
in whatever instance, even without even the end goal of progression. Because if you want to end up having a girlfriend or having a one night stand or whatever. It's all about progression, or unless you'll stay in the friend zone forever, right? But in the sake of not being a progression, you just want to have a conversation with an individual. Just go up to be like, yo, I fuck with your shoes. Where'd you get your shoes from? Or like, yo, I fuck with your shirt. Where'd you get your shirt from? This and that. We'll track the conversation. And then just be like, yo, it was nice talking to you. This and that. I hope you have a good day. Bye. Simple as that. It's you don't have to. Every girl that you talk to doesn't have to be a girl in whom that you have to put a ring on, who you have to get in bed with, etc. Or even a friend. It can just be a stranger in whom that both of you acknowledge your own existence. You have a good conversation, and then you leave with good energy. It's simple. And it's like you don't be like, huh, my name is Jeffrey, and no, get here, bro. The door's right there, bro. You don't need that. The door's right there. You don't need that.
Oh man, can't be no Jeffrey.
Like she's not gonna kill you. She's not gonna open up her jaws like a big white shark and just not like no. If anything, she's just gonna laugh in your face. Or just walk away. It's like you can't be affected by that. If anything, you should be inspired to change for the better. It's like, okay, next time whenever I talk to her, this and that, she's gonna see the man who I am. Not even fuck the money, bro. It's about the confidence a man has, and it's about the value that he has as well. How he dresses, how he smells, how he looks, etc. You can't just be walking and talking to girls looking like a bum, bro, wearing Minecraft shirts and shit. You can't. So
Yeah.
Wearing Minecraft shirts is sick.
yeah, like there are grown ass men who are wearing creeper Minecraft shirts, or like the shirts that have saying like "Don't wake me up until it's Friday" or some shit like that, or
That corny
Or the one that's like, I
cornball.
had to stop my game for this or something
yeah,
like
I had
that.
to pause my game to come here.
Or about like,
Man, goofy.
Like get you a black shirt from Walmart, get you a pack of 5 black shirts from Walmart, white tees. You can get yourself some other color, like I have a maroon shirt that grips the biceps, and I wear that everywhere I go. But if I'm going on a date, if I'm gonna go hang out with people, I usually wear shirts that make my figure look nice, and that's something that it's it, bro. It's minimalism. I don't have to wear a whole graphic tee. I don't have to be Nike down. I don't have to look like a mafia boss wearing Adidas. Everybody has their own style, but if your style is Minecraft shirts or I'm gonna pause my game, then you gotta change it, G.
You gotta burn that shirt.
so
But
let me
I wanted
ask
to
y'all
ask y'all.
this.
Oh, go ahead.
Or no, you go. I asked the first thing, so you go.
I mean, I was gonna go back to fear. I was gonna ask because obviously we're not perfect. So, how do you guys deal with fear on y'all's day to day, interactions? Let's say this past week, if you can remember.
So with me, I know before I started working at the retail with my first job, it was this retail, like pretty big brand. It was Puma, and going up to customers, I was scared, man. I didn't want to go to customers. I didn't want to talk to people. And this was back in 2018, 2019, I believe. And I was just scared. Every single time I saw somebody, I just turned around, looked the other way, not even want to acknowledge them. And compared to now, if a customer needs help or somebody needs help, I go up to them. Even if they don't see me, I go up to them first. I don't care. Just because what's the harm? Like, what am I gonna do that, or what are they gonna do to make me, lose my job or be scared to talk to people forever? And even in general, in public, it's just you're probably not gonna see them ever again.
We're gonna see him again.
And even then, like, let's say if you do something embarrassing or something that you might remember, just forget about it. Who's the only person that's gonna care is just you. And then even then, people around you are scared in a sense, are embarrassed too. Even if they don't show it, they are. Everybody's embarrassed in a sense. you just exemplifying it even more just because you just putting it into the world. So I just say, just don't worry about anything. Just do whatever you gotta do. You know, just live life day by day to the fullest.
That's
Agreed.
big.
Yeah, if so just to answer this question, yeah, so it kind of branches off from what Jose said. If I get in a position in which that my mind, it's like milliseconds. If I feel fear of doing something, I get up and do it. I get up and do it
Yeah.
immediately. I don't second guess. I don't negotiate. I don't negotiate, right? So this is a good example. I was in the plane, right? I was in the plane. There was a stewardess, bro. Absolute like she was a beauty. She was beautiful. Foreign, she had the accent, you know what I'm saying?
Just right.
Absolutely beautiful. And so in order for me to get to the bathroom, I have to go, of course, up the aisle and I have to take a left. And like, there's this little area in where like all the stewardess, all the people where the people work at and they make the meals or whatever, or they get the water for people and all that. I have to walk through there to get to the restroom, right? And she's standing there and all that. I'm like, bro, like, this and that. So I get up. I'm like thinking in my head, should I just go to the other one that's behind me that's like closer, but it's locked. I have to wait. This one's open and I gotta pee right now. And my mind's like, bro, just wait, just wait. Nah, I got up and I just went straight to it. I saw her, we locked eyes, I smiled at her, she smiled at me, this and that. Whatever. My mind thought some crazy shit was gonna go down, bro, but nothing happened. Went into the bathroom, took my piss, and came back out. She was there again. I smiled at her, say what's up, say hey. And then I went back to my seat.
And she was
So it's like,
That's
choosing,
it.
man. You should have.
huh?
So she was choosing, man. You should have. Ooh, you should have.
Yeah, she gets to fly across the world, bro. Imagine I could be getting them free points, them free miles. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Come
But
on, man.
Shows.
in a sense, just and like
Ooh.
to really summarize, anytime I feel some sort of instance of fear, I go and do it immediately. A millisecond. I don't negotiate. I do not be negotiating. And in a way, it's training my mind to react to fear like that. And by the time I'm 25, it's instant. It's instantaneous. I don't have to think about it anymore. I don't negotiate anymore. So it's just something that I'm training, and that's just one thing. So that's just one. I don't know who I've heard it from. I think it was David Goggins, but yeah.
That's clean. That's dope too. Josh.
How do I deal with fear? Oof.
Mm.
I was thinking about it right now, and and can you come back to Jose? Are you ready? Can you come back to me? I ain't ready yet. I don't even.
I got you.
Okay, here, I'll give another example.
Go ahead.
So regarding with our or not, well, with the rocket shots, our photography business, me and Josh talked about how it would be cool to have car photography in there, right? And thinking back to it, I know people at work that have nice cars, and in the back of my mind, I could have just been could have not told them about it, even though that's the easiest access for me to get a photo shoot right then and there and get experience and make it and get the portfolio up. I could have just been like, nah, you know what? Let me just wait. I'll wait until I get it. Let me just wait. Or I'm gonna ask somebody else. But no. I went up to the dude. I was like, hey man, I remember you talking about cars and you were into it. And I think you had like a nice car, right? And he was like, yeah. And going through the conversation, I just told him, if he wants a car photo shoot, I'll be down by next month around April. And I'll let you know what days will work. He was like, yeah, that's cool, bro. Like, yeah, I'm definitely down for that. Yeah, I'm excited. And in that instance, I could have just been not talking to that guy, not even told him that I'm in a photography business, and just been like, maybe not him, maybe somebody else. I could have just been like, no, let's not do him. But instead, I was like, you know what? Let me just talk to him. Let me just give him the offer, and yes or no, I get experience. If not, then I'll find somebody else. You know.
That's big too.
Yeah, that's a good point. And it's like it's kind of goes in with Josh. I mean, I don't know if he said this in the podcast about flirting with the world and just talking, conversating with whomever, because we never know what type of opportunity or what type of activity that could arise from speaking to that person, you know. And I'm gonna ask you, Jose, was it instinctual? Was it like some sort of some conscious initiation for you to go talk to him?
It was. I basically already had it. I already knew he had like a decent car.
No.
So regarding with that plan with the business, I just like, okay, I'm gonna go to him. But even then, at that very moment, I know my old self could have been like, yeah, not right now, let me wait. Or
So,
you know what, this can be a
Yeah.
weird conversation. Let me not bring it up.
okay.
But no, I just brought it up. I asked him, and he was like, yeah, let's go.
I think
And
I was gonna say the main the part to highlight in what you said is that your old self would have, but you aren't your old self, you're your new self now. And this is the conclusion I've come to when it comes to dealing with fear for myself. It's just to upgrade, to become your newer self. Because your old self, what would you do? You were afraid in that moment. Same thing with Namdi. When you had to talk to that whatever the stewardess, what would your old middle school self, your high school self would have done? Would you have sat back down? Let me but I think the best way to really conquer fear is to level up. Oh
Yeah.
shit! Like if you really have, like, this goes back to, if you're that weird dude and you want to bag the fine female and you're afraid to talk to her, you level up. You're not gonna be afraid anymore because now your status is up here. You met her now. If I were to, the way I deal with fear is leveling up. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna admit I'm not perfect, in every moment when I have fear, I may not do whatever I fear. I might shy away from a little bit, or I might attack it. I can't think of a specific instance at this moment. But the best way of conquering fear, to level up. Level up. Get your wolf pack. Once you have your wolf pack, start meeting with them. Get on some knowledge and level up. That's what life is about. It's a game. How are you going to play it? Level up.
All right, Kevin. Yeah, all right, Kevin.
Okay. Kevin, man.
Kevin Samuels. I wanted to get back to him because he had this thing called CIA, and that's confidence, intelligence, and assertiveness.
Assertiveness.
Okay.
So anytime, like, shoot, how long has it been? I think it's been like 3 weeks. I got back into listening to him, and every time he say CIA, I just started thinking. I'm like, okay, let me add that to my bag. Let me start acting this out because I'm smart. I can be assertive. I wasn't assertive, but I can be assertive. And confidence, I just gotta put that in place. So I decided to put it in place, and so far, I can tell you I work for the CIA. You gonna believe me? You know, like it's a unconscious confidence that's slowly been rising in me. Like just day to day. Like I go to class, I look at a girl, I look at her, I look at this, look at the board. You know how to do this? I'll show you. Come on now, like you gotta know how to be a man. Like it's bigger than just taking your pickaxe and mining something. It's your flow, it's your ebb and flow, it's how you communicate, it's how your voice switch. Like you gotta know you suave. You gotta add that under you know, on your list of abilities. You got all
So
that stuff.
basically, yeah, how you do anything is how you do everything.
Big,
Yeah.
big. And if you, Josh, what you been saying? You that who? Yeah, you that
You gotta stay
YouTube.
monetized.
YouTube now, Future got a song. He say he that what? He that boy. You keep that in mind. You that I want to say it so bad, but
Yeah, we gotta
having
keep
that
that
fear,
monetized. Monetization, man.
You can have that fear on the side, but as long as you recognize that you are CIA, piece of Kevin Samuels, that fear stuff is not gonna affect you how much you think it is, because you way stronger than that feeling of fear. I don't know, man. That's how I started. I used to think about it in a real overthinking way about my fear. I used to be introspective. I'm like, why am I fearful? I'll ask myself these questions. I'm like, "Yeah, I don't even know why I'm afraid. I know why I'm afraid. I'm afraid is, rejection or, my ego getting hit. Like, I don't need to ask myself. There's no point in asking and, what's it? What do you call it? Um, losing the battle to your inner bitch. Like, you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. Cut that shit out. Recognize you are confident, intelligent, and assertive, and you're gonna prosper, man. I don't know. Don't be fearful. Without Jose, you had a question before I ask my question. Let's get to that.
I was just gonna say, what do you guys think, or what are the essentials to starting this self-development journey in a sense?
Essentials, like as in like what you need before you start.
As in, like, what are big major factors, like how Kevin Samuel said, you need your pack, you need a group of men that you can trust. I would add a journal, you know, being able to write your thoughts down every night, understanding that journaling is the biggest thing to understanding yourself and overcoming your mental state. So I don't know what other things, or I guess mindsets, that you guys would think is essential for starting the self development.
It's like puzzle pieces or like factors in the game of self improvement, kind of.
Yeah.
Certain attributes. Okay, well, self awareness is definitely one of them. That's one of the things that I was thinking. Having some sort of perspicacity, some self awareness that you understand what's going on. You understand what's going on in your life. You understand, why do I feel like this? How do I feel like, and that ties in with your journaling as well. Putting your thoughts into words make it so much easier to interpret and to analyze what you're thinking about and saying, right? Self-awareness is definitely one. Having Testing yourself physically, testing yourself mentally, and testing yourself spiritually. So having some sort of test, right? Whether it's working out, you're going on a run every day, you're lifting weights. So it's physically, mentally, you're learning something new, you're learning a new language, you're learning how to make money in this sector, you're niching, you're finding some sort of niche that you can crush within whatever market. And then spiritually, you're doing a 7-day fast, you're doing a 3-day fast, you're doing a 4-day water fast, food fast, etc. And so doing something that tests your capabilities is essential for self-improvement, because once you test your capabilities, you'll understand that you're capable of so much more. And then you'll be addicted and obsessed with finding out the next level, the next level, the next level, the next level. And so yeah.
I like what Namdi said. The thing is that when there's a lot of options for somebody to take, a lot of different avenues, I'm like, what road to take? You know what I'm saying? So it's like you can tell somebody to do all this and do all that, but he's not gonna know which one to pick up first. So I would say, like you said, be self-aware, because this is exactly what I was gonna say. Recognize you need it, or you will be average. Like, you have to recognize. So that's just being self-aware. Well, once you get to that point that you know what you need to do, or you recognize that what you need, now you need to pick one thing and buckle down on that. So if that's working out, you need to start working out consistently, 6 times a week, 5 times a week. If that's the road that you want to go down first, or you want to start gaining knowledge, read a book a week or 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, you switch a book out. Make that your thing for the next couple months, because it's going to be a long process. It's not going to, oh, I can do this and do this, and a couple weeks I'm going to be a new man, nah, you have to pick one thing, knock it out, and then move on to the next and add to your bag. Like it's almost like adding a habit. It's like, and that's essentially what you're gonna be doing. You're gonna be adding habits. So you have to be able to build that first habit down. Okay, now that's part of you. Grab something else, make that part of you. Slowly grabbing the pieces. I don't know. That's just how I see it.
Yeah, I really liked how you guys both mentioned the self-awareness part, and that goes into having a journal. I think like Jose said. But I'll go back to how I said life, it's a game. So if we really want to take one broad system, and with this broad system of things that you can implement into your life, this will lead you on a self-improvement path. So it has to be kind of vague. We can't get too specific because some people's self-improvement paths might be going up this way, some up this way. Not everybody's meant to be an entrepreneur. So, some people might want to self-improve and be the best employee. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. But for the intangibles, I think no matter what self-improvement path you have to take, you have to level up, upgrade your character. So what are those things? As a man, I'll say as a man, because I'm not a woman. You have to work out. Work out 4 to 5 times a week, 6 times a week, at least 4. At least that Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. At least, then you could start leveling up from there 5 times a week, 6 times a week. You have to work out. The next thing I believe you have to do, or I know you have to do, is you have to be a learner. You can't level up in any aspect of life without learning. You have to learn. That's the next thing. And the third thing, Namdi hit on it, challenge yourself. If you're not challenging yourself, you're not leveling up. You're not. In a video game, what do you do to level up? You complete a challenge. You complete the mission. If you don't challenge yourself, if you always pick up the 20-pound dumbbells, you're not leveling up. You're staying the same. So always increase the difficulty so that you keep leveling up. Challenge that gym. Challenge that book. Read a longer book. Listen to a more complicated podcast where the podcasters are using vocabulary words you don't understand. Always level up. Those are my essentials.
That's great. Even regarding with having a challenge is the biggest part, just because a lot of us, don't go through it or don't have a challenge, especially for young men today. They don't have a challenge like how it was before. A lot of men now just stay at home, watch TV all day, not care about how they look, how they are perceived throughout the world, and just lose all sense of purpose. And if every day we're able to get 1% better, i.e. with working out, doing a challenge that's hard, but achievable, every single day. Hard, achievable. Not go too far just because you won't reach it and you'll just feel like, oh, it's a waste of time. You get to set a challenge where it's achievable, but it's also hard at the same time. I remember you, Josh, you were talking about that a while back. I don't know.
Yeah. Last week.
And what was it about?
About leveling or the challenge?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't video game. It's like a video game. You don't want to fight the boss that's level 100 and you're only level 20. Go fight the boss that's level 22. Because once you beat him, you'll level up way more. But don't just stay fighting the ones that are level 2. You're not going to get any XP. So don't challenge yourself too much. Challenge yourself just enough. Don't break. Build. And that's what I was saying. Like, don't overdo it. Challenge, go a little bit further beyond your breaking point I mean, not beyond your break, but go a little bit further beyond your point of which you reside, and then challenge yourself there. Don't go too far. Don't break yourself, but always take that next step.
Yeah.
They say the same thing about the flow state and how like for you to reach the flow state, you need to be doing work that's just above your capability level, but not too below your capability level. So if it's too easy, you're not reaching your flow state. And if it's too difficult to where you can't make any progress, you're not reaching your flow state. So
Exactly.
your flow is gonna be like perfectly optimized when the thing is just as difficult as you need it to be. And you know exactly where that is. Like a couple weeks ago, it was the beginning of the year. We had just started working out here at Crunch. And I mean I wanted to grab the hundreds for our DB bench. And, you know that I could do that, but I got hurt over the break, so I couldn't really, push that much weight with my chest. So I knew I had to go down. It's like, this doesn't feel good. But I didn't there's no need for me to push. I just need to do just enough to where it's not easy, but it's, just as hard to where I can improve. And now I'm back to, venture 120s. And I can do that with ease. So you just gotta be real, what's the word? Patient with your improvement at the same time. You want to stay in that flow state of your improvement.
I agree.
And that's what you said, Matt. Patience. Patience is the key. You know, a lot of guys, a lot of people in general just think everything will come like quick, fast. Oh, let me do this for a month. I'm surely gonna make $1,000. Oh, I'm surely gonna make $100,000.
Yeah.
But I remember one thing that Kim and Samuel said: you have to have at least 10,000 hours of expertise, right? Or is it 100,000 hours?
I think it's 10,000.
And or
It's 10,000 hours, I believe.
10,000.
10,000.
And keep in mind, you only have 24 hours a day. And half of that, 8 hours, is just sleep for the most part, if you're getting proper sleep. And if you have a job, that's going to take up some time. So you probably have 4 to 5 hours of dedicated time to whatever expertise you want to get into. And if you decide to use those 4 to 5 hours on, Outer Banks came out, I need to watch the whole season. Oh, this new anime came out, I need to watch this whole season. Oh, my new show. This looks like a good show. Let me watch it. And your 5 hours where you could dedicate to your expertise goes down to 30 minutes. And you expect to get to 10,000 hours of expertise with just 30 minutes every day? No. No.
It's true. It's all about patience and prioritizing your time and what Jose said and tying in with what Med said about patience. So it makes a lot of sense. You just got to be professional in all the things you do. It's all about being professional, and you can even spend about 45 minutes to an hour every day, like 45 minutes to an hour every day doing deep work on whatever you're trying to like excel at. So if you're trying to excel in YouTube, for example, or Instagram, then spend an hour or an hour and a half on improving your Instagram game, finding ways on how to maximize the capability of getting your channel out there or maximizing the skill that you're trying to build. 45 minutes to 2 hours, because I mean, if you put in 6 to 8 hours of like work, quote unquote, that is just sparse and you're on your phone sometimes and this and that, is going to be far less effective than an hour or 2 hours of actual deep work. And your phone's on the other side of the room and you're using Pomodoro and you're really focusing on that. So it's about really utilizing your time properly, So yeah, that's a good point. It's a really good point. So yeah. Looks like
I guess. Yeah, I guess that will conclude for today's podcast. I don't know if anybody else has another point. No other champion.
Let's see. Let's see.
I will say I don't have problems. I have friends. That goes a long way. That's way deeper than surface level. What does that mean, though? You don't have problems, you have friends. The essence of that quote:
Oh,
build your network. Build your network. Let's say, oh man, I'm all out of money, blah, blah, I'm out of money. People's biggest problem, money. You have a network of people that make money. I bet you money won't be an issue in your life anymore. Any problem. There's people out here who commit crimes, felonies. That's their problem. They get out of it. Why? Because they have friends. They know the right people. It's about who you know. It's about who you know. Build your pack.
And so
Build.
I wanted to end off with one of these quotes. I have a bunch of quotes here, and most of them are from Top G himself, Free Top G, and I'll read one from him and one from Jordan B. Peterson. So, absolutely every single one of your actions is intentional, divine purpose. If your day is full of mindless action, you act without thought. And that is extremely dangerous. And JBP says, you must determine where you are going in life because you cannot get there unless you move in that direction. Random wandering will not move you forward. It will instead disappoint and frustrate you and make you anxious and unhappy and hard to get along with, and then resentful and then vengeful and then worse. Jordan B. Peterson. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today.
thank you, Champion Namdi. Well, champions, that concludes the council meeting. Catch us next week. We'll go in depth with networking. I know we touched a little bit on it right now, but next week for sure we'll talk about it more. Champions.
Ah, yes, sir. Ugh. Thumbnail. Oh, you can't even see.